Everybody, welcome back to Starflag Media Gaming. My name is Anthony. I want to welcome you guys back to the channel. Today we are talking about breaking news that we couldn't wait. Apparently the Switch has been leaked. The Switch 2 has been leaked. An accessory manufacturer seemingly reveals the official Switch successor details. There's multiple updates to this. It started leaking last night on the 13th. As always, I take all of that stuff with a grain of salt, so I didn't come with the news right away. But now, after multiple updates, this guy doubled and tripled down. And then we also have another rumor. We gotta call it a rumor for now since it's not an official Nintendo announcement, but an insider shares hands-on experiences with the Switch 2, and then as well as Nintendo suing a streamer. So now that we kind of got all of that out of the way, let's go right into it. Let's gonna start off with the suing of the streamer first. As we know, a couple of months back, Nintendo, is hyper vigilant about piracy and emulation. To a degree that most of us kind of, think they crossed the line a few times, but everyone out there knows Nintendo defends their policy and their intellectual property to no end. Streamer Everygameguru, who would continuously get on Twitch and stream pirated games, not only would he stream the Switch titles that hadn't seen public release yet, he would then also tell his viewers how to pirate Nintendo software, tell them to actively do it, and he engaged in these activities across Discord, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and other platforms. Well, Nintendo had a few of Everygameguru's channels and accounts taken down, which led to the streamer emailing Nintendo directly, and he told Nintendo that he had 1,000 burner channels to stream on, and he can do this all day. He also pledged to point his viewers to Switch emulators so they could play Nintendo games without having to purchase a Switch. And we know all of this because Nintendo has now officially filed lawsuit against Everygameguru for his actions. Nintendo is seeking $150,000 per infringement of its copyright, and with Nintendo saying that Everygameguru streamed pirated content in at least 50 occasions in the last 2 years, that would mean that he will owe Nintendo $7.5 million. And we'll keep track of this, of course, as this lawsuit continues. Now, the update to that is that Nintendo has said that the streamer continues to taunt their legal team and is purposefully avoiding being served. Nintendo has made 5 attempts to serve the streamer to no avail. And now they're suggesting to serve his partner, his mother, or grandmother instead. So, why would you go after Nintendo? Why would you purposefully taunt Nintendo, knowing how their legal team is and how litigant this company is? They protect their IP to no end, and now with the Switch 2 around the corner, and it seems like it will be backwards compatible with the Switch, it's gonna be a problem for this streamer because Nintendo wants to keep their IP protected, especially if it's going to be carrying over to the next generation. They're going to want to know that, hey, you can't just go ahead and pirate our games because we're still making money on these things. Hell, you can't pirate their retro stuff because they still make money on that stuff with Nintendo Online. So, yeah, this guy, Everygameguru, man, I'm sorry to say, I'm not on your side. You poke the bear and you're about to find out. $7.5 million. You may have 50 burner channels, but I know you don't got $7.5 million to burn. It goes on to the next thing. Speaking of Switch 2, we will be talking about a rumor. Insider shares hands-on impressions of the Switch successor, and this comes via Go Nintendo. It seems not a day goes by lately without a new leak or rumor. Normally, we dismiss these kind of things. With that in mind, here's the summary of the information they supplied through a Reddit thread. It says the previous leaks and 3D renderings of the next consoles have basically been accurate. It's actually going to be called the Nintendo Switch 2. And the logo is just the original Switch logo with a number 2 next to it. They were told of a mid-March release date as well as a January reveal, but that info doesn't come from a first-party source. so take that with another bigger grain of salt. There will be multiple colors of the unit, with gray coming first, and white units may also be available at launch or coming right after. There will be a special edition of the console themed around a specific game that has yet to be named, although Next Handheld, that's the leaker, says that the number 9 is in the title, so most likely it's indicating that Mario Kart 9. Whether or not this game / edition of the Switch will be there at launch is unknown. It makes sense for Mario Kart 9. Mario Kart 8 is a Wii U game, guys. So we went through an entire Wii U and Switch life cycle. And yeah, to be fair, Nintendo did add a whole nother 48 courses to Mario Kart 8, making it outrageous. But it makes sense that now they're going to follow that up. It is the number 1 selling game on the console to a Mario Kart 9. So that's on message, in my opinion. There's some kind of new technology in the Joy-Cons that no one has mentioned yet, which could create new experiences. Specifically, it sounds like this feature is on the top side of the Joy-Con when detached. And when asked for more specific info, the Next Handheld user replied, "Think lasers," which is interesting. So we'll see what's going on with that. We know that the Joy-Cons now have a very rarely used infrared sensor, so maybe something along those lines, more advanced. Maybe one is a receptor. Well, I have no idea. We'll find out. The Joy-Con magnets themselves can be used as buttons. They attach to the Switch. Joy-Con buttons and sticks are slightly larger than the Switches. The Joy-Cons will use Hall effect sticks. Many of us are happy to hear that. If you had any issues with drifting, I have a launch Switch and never had any issues with it, so I was one of the lucky ones. It says there is an audible clicking sound, non-digital, when attaching the Joy-Cons to the system. The dock is similar to the original Switch dock, but with rounded edges and wider. And the dock doesn't cover the entire screen, and some of it still sticks out at the top. So similar to the regular Switch, when you put it into your dock, you still see the icons for Wi-Fi and battery life and all that. It is about the same weight as the original Switch and equally as thin. Switch 2 cartridges look similar to the Switch cartridges, and the cartridge port is the same size, which makes sense if you're going for backwards compatibility. So once again, none of this is confirmed. Some or all of it could be false. We don't know for sure until Nintendo makes a formal announcement. However, this seems on point because of the next thing that we're going to talk about, which is an accessory manufacturer has revealed the official Switch successor details with multiple updates. So DBRAND makes cases for consoles for the Switch specifically, right? Because it's a handheld. They've had quite a shaky history with Nintendo. Not that long ago, the company came to blows with Nintendo over their unofficial Zelda-themed Switch decals, that you could just stick right onto the console, and they were very similar to Zelda. They showed DBRAND's feelings toward Nintendo when they said "Go F yourself," lawyers, on their Twitter page, and also reveal how the company is willing to poke the bear in order to stir up attention. Which brings us to today's news. DBRAND has shared a look at a case that they have in the works, and the company seems to be hinting that the product is for the Switch successor. You can see an image of the case right here, and they've also shared a 3D render of it, which you're looking at now. So the video was shared alongside DBRAND's website for a product called the Switch 2 Kill Switch. DBRAND has obviously put all this together in order to hop on the recent trend of supposed Switch successor leaks. So, to go even further, Insider Gaming reached out to DBRAND CEO Adam Jazz. I may have mispronounced that. We asked if the above pictures show off the actual design of the Switch successor. He flat out said that's indeed what we're seeing. And we quote, "That is correct. It is the Switch 2 with our Kill Switch case in it, or on it. Similar in principle to our Kill Switch for the Steam Deck, ROG Ally, and ROG Ally X." Second update came via The Verge, where he shared specific dimensions of the Switch successor, and these are based on 3D scans of real hardware that DBRAND had access to. It says it's larger taller than the Switch OLED, roughly the same thickness. The handheld is 270 millimeters wide, 116 millimeters tall, with 14 millimeters thickness. The console portion takes up 200 millimeters worth of that width. Kickstand will measure around half the console's height at around 55 millimeters. It looks to be U-shaped. A diagonal measurement of the cover points scream to an 8-inch screen. Joy-Cons are magnetically attached with an ejection button on the back of the Joy-Cons near the top. The second square button under the home has a C printed on it. Joysticks stand at 6.27 millimeters tall. The D-pad and ABXY buttons protrude 1.57 millimeters. 180 millimeter wide kickstand. Back triggers that extend 14.1 millimeters. Notice that they said back triggers, which some of the leaks that we saw earlier on said that Nintendo was working on some new type of buttons for the Joy-Cons on the back, so I'm interested to see that. Jazz is genuinely unsure about the release date, but are working towards a late March or early April release for their case. Specifics on whether the dock or else is either has an LCD or LED screen are not known. Either way, the CEO seems to be not giving an F about Nintendo or their lawyers, and, you know, again, he said these are 3D scans, and they're going gung-ho, they're producing these cases. So yeah, Nintendo pretty much at this point, the cat's out of the bag. It looks exactly like the current Switch, but bigger, so bigger screen, better hardware, better Joy-Cons, better joysticks, more powerful. That's good. You know, as long as it's up there in par with like an Xbox Series S in strength with DLSS, you can probably get those renderings up to 2K, pushing 4K 30 frames. I'll be happy with 1080p 60 and or UHD 2K at 60 frames. I'd be extremely happy with that to see what Nintendo can do with that type of power, seeing how great their art direction has been over the last generation with, hell, since GameCube, their art direction has really held up even with underpowered consoles. Yeah, I'm excited. So what do you guys think about these leaks? Do you think they are legitimate? And then second, what about that streamer, do you guys think? What do you think is going on with Everygameguru? Do you think he cares? It'd be great if Everygameguru does see this to comment below. Let us know what you think is going on. As always, my name is Anthony. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe. We're trying to hit 4,000 subscribers. And I will catch you guys next time.